Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We rented movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
Ready? Ready! Feel the rhythm! Feel the rhyme! Get on up! It's Bobsled Time! Coooooooool Runnings!
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Santa's podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about their favorite flicks from childhood. I'm Sweetie.
And I'm Sweetie.
And tonight is the opening ceremony of the
God.
Olympics.
Dun, 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 dun.
Our favorite time of the year.
Okay. I heard for the first time today, I was listening to a podcast and they played that, talking about the Olympics, and they played that little theme that which I guess is the Olympic theme, right?
Yes.
I got shivers. I fucking flipped out, and I ran and I was in the kitchen and ran out to Sweetie. And I was like, "Oh my god! I just heard the opening bars of the Olympic theme, and I almost started crying." I don't know what it is. That song just makes me go bananas. I love it so much. I've come to the conclusion that basically, if you do not like the Olympics, it's like not liking puppies. Who does not like the Olympics? Do you know people?
So a terrorist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my god! The Olympics are A, so fun.
So fun.
B, so heartwarming. Not only with just from the in general sort of global, oh my god, all these people from countries coming together, but the personal stories of these athletes who have tried so hard their whole life. And there's always these crazy stories about people who have no legs, or well, it's the Paralympics, but or crazy family stuff, or their dad died and they have to
what's
compete
his face
anyway, or
and then
something.
shot his girlfriend.
Yeah. But it's just such a feel good 2 weeks every 2 years that I can't get over.
It is. It's so great, and it's just really reminds. Just speaking of nostalgia, just really brings me back to the 90s.
Yeah, it's definitely I'm trying to be good about watching them, but there was a moment when we were little, right in this time that we are talking about growing up with movies, that we were crazy obsessed with the Olympics as little kids, and how much that gets basically tattooed on your soul, for us anyway, of little kids, and such crazy memories of watching those Olympics, whether it was summer, summer or winter. So we've already talked about the winter ones with all the skating that we talked about for the cutting edge. The gymnastics when freaking
90,
Atlanta
97
when Carrie Strug did it with the one bum ankle.
Dominique Dawes.
Oh my god,
was my girl.
I mean, we watched that shit live.
I was obsessed.
Live.
Obsessed. I know. You really do miss out when it's not.
Yeah.
We haven't had an Olympics in the same time zone as us in forever.
Well,
maybe
Brazil
since Atlanta.
Brazil was.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but this one especially.
Those were
so,
the days.
For example, I have Alexa, and I just asked her what time it was in Korea.
She's awake. Shh, shh. Alexa, we don't need you. Go away.
Okay, good. So she told me what time it was in Korea, and it's 14-hour time difference. So,
It's a pretty long time.
Or maybe 12. Wait, what did I say? 13? I think it's 13. Yeah, so it's the next day there. Opening ceremonies were yesterday. So it's just it's kind of weird.
Wait, so it's already opened?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought when they showed it taped, it was it was live, but it was just a different day.
No. So this was last night, because it's always at night because they do fireworks and shit.
Right,
Yeah.
that's true.
Anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so long story short.
Upsetting. Okay, so in order to celebrate, we did Coooooooool Runnings.
Woo! From 1993. I forgot how fucking awesome this movie is. It is so good.
Talk about heartwarming.
My God. This movie is amazing. I watched this as a kid quite a bit. Again, it's a Disney original movie. Or Disney movie. Whatever that, like, the thing with the... Wait, what's that thing
Just
that I said?
I mean, it's just the
Disney
Disney
Studios. But what's
mean,
that
it's
theme?
just-
I sang that today, too.
Dun, 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 dun.
Is that what it is?
It's like it's when you wish. It's like the beginning of When You Wish Upon a Star. Yeah. With that weird thing that's actually a D. It's not a weird symbol. It's a D.
Right. For Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totes.
Took me a while to figure that out. I've actually only seen this once, I think.
Oh, wow.
Because I'll tell you why. It traumatized the shit out of me.
What?
And I never wanted to watch it again because I was so upset. You know how I get about sad things?
Okay.
About
it's
strong
not
men
sad.
feeling
It's
sad?
happy. No, it's really happy, first of all. It has some great messages in there about doing your best and trying your hardest is number one. If you win, it's great, but it's not the end of the world. It's that, like, you tried and you did your best.
Just really traumatic.
It's a great message. Also, obviously, lots of different messages about, being the odd one out, taking loss, have overbearing parents. What else? Casual racism.
Don't East Germany are a bunch of Nazis.
Well, no, they were communists. Gotcha.
Well, they're mostly Nazis.
But yeah, this is a terrific film. I'm so glad we watched it. I feel so good.
Good. I'm glad for you.
Yeah.
I was a little PTSD most of the time, but felt okay by the end.
Loser underdog movies are my favorite. Winner underdog movies are also my favorite.
What's another loser underdog movie?
Rudy.
He loses in that? Spoiler.
No, he gets to play, so I guess that's winning. But he's not like the quarterback. He doesn't like go in and like score all these points. He just like gets to play. There's lots of
I don't know if
those.
that counts. Well, I was upset anyways.
Little Giants?
Still get...
No,
They won.
Shit.
Get out of here.
Okay, we'll find loser underdog
still
movies.
still have a nervous bubble guts watching that last run.
Well,
It's
I
just-
didn't know this, but they used the actual footage when they crashed, which is like pretty cool. No, I mean sad, very sad.
You mean
But-
that shot of the head like on the side of the
I
wall
hope not.
where like the neck was gonna
Yeah.
snap? Terrifying.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So a couple of things I learned about this reading the trivia today, that they really like envisioned an all-star cast of like really well-known African American actors to play the four men of the four-men bobsled. John Candy was always in and he stayed. But the other actors were like Denzel Washington, Eddie Murphy, just like really famous people who they weren't going to pay him enough. So they're like, hells no, I'm Eddie Murphy. So they got all these no-namers, but I almost like that better.
Sure. I mean, it feels more legit. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be like, oh, there's Eddie Murphy in the bobsled team. That doesn't
exactly.
That doesn't work.
You can't
Doesn't work
do
for
that.
me.
And no one was Jamaican.
In real life?
Yes.
Wait, in this movie?
Yes.
No one was.
No one was Jamaican.
Okay.
They're all American actors.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that checks out.
Even the East German guy was Canadian.
Nothing's legit. Nothing's for reals. I mean, just goes to show you. I mean, really, they made up everything in this movie.
Yes, they did.
And it is kind of sad when you read the real story and you're like, oh, they didn't make it past the qualifying
Right.
round.
So they definitely like Hollywooded
And
it up. The story.
nobody hated them. Everyone loved
Yes.
them, and people they were like throwing sleds at them. They're like, "You need a sled? You need a sled?
helping with
Here's a
training.
sled."
I mean, that makes me feel so good though, because like it's like pretty bad when they get there. And actually, when I was watching this, I was like, "Come on! Like They clearly weren't competition. Okay, they like weren't that good. They got better, but they weren't that great. They certainly were not going to like a medal contender." So why wouldn't you be like, how cool is this? Like, you live in this hot climate, you're doing this icy sport in the Winter Olympics, like, help a brother out. And that's all I could think of when people were being like such dicks to them.
Right.
So it's good to know that
Yeah,
humanity is like actually
Yeah,
great,
that was in real
and
life.
you have to like make it bad to make a good movie.
Totally.
So I feel better about that.
good.
There wasn't any Hans Drool.
What?
Was
Wait,
the
that's
evil
his
guy's
name. Drool.
Yeah.
DROOL. No,
Yes.
no, that's drool.
TROOL.
Mouth drool.
Wow.
I don't believe it. Okay, yeah. So let's relive that heartwarming saga of sort of racism and happiness, not together. That was weird. That was a weird combination. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. It's time for the sweetie synopsis. Yeah, sweeties. Feel the rhythm, feel the ride, get on up. It's bobsled time.
Good one. Dries, what's his last name? Forget.
No last name. No, he has one.
He has one. It's famous. Is a Jamaican sprinter who has Olympic dreams. He's been training most of his life.
It's 1988.
It's 1988. It's Jamaica. He's been training most of his life to get to the Olympics, to follow in the footsteps of his father, who won a gold medal.
I think he went 2.
2?
Oh, maybe
no, John Candy
no,
won
John
2.
Candy went 2.
But then he had to give them back because he cheated. So it's time for the big race. And, Dries there. He lines up. He's like, this is it. This is my moment. And then he's running and he's running. And then this one guy trips and he knocks down 2 other guys, including Dries. Olympic dreams dash. Done.
Yeah.
Over.
You know how that
Done.
goes.
I've seen it. I've seen it in the actual Olympics.
Me
It's
too. It's
very upsetting.
That is upsetting. That time that happened. One
Oh my
time.
God, I know.
Man.
But then
that
they
girl
that
crying.
girl, and then that girl helped her up,
Yeah.
and then they limped together to the finish line.
Dude, that's
just
gonna be
Cool
that's gonna be a
Runnings.
movie in 20 years.
Anyways, so he's upset, but then he goes to what was that guy? The mayor?
He was was in charge of all the Olympic committee of Jamaica, let's say.
okay.
So Jamaica is only known for A, running, specifically sprinting, B, cycling, C, that might be it. Was there one other one? Boxing? No.
yeah, boxing.
Boxing maybe? Yeah, boxing. So they only do 3 sports and that's it. All summer sports. Obviously, hot climate.
Makes sense.
And thing about Dries is that guy never gives up. He wants to be in the Olympics so bad. And he goes, first he goes to complain to the guy, you need to run the race again because I tripped. Not how it works. What about the people who won?
I mean, he was the best. He should have gone.
I know, but shit happens.
Yeah.
Your shoe comes untied. I don't know. You have a bad day. Dude, that's not how sports work.
You had a bad day. You fell down.
Exactly. So the guy's like, hey, sorry, not gonna happen. Good luck. Olympics are in another 4 years. You'll be fine.
And then he sees this picture on the wall of John Candy / not. It's just some guy and his dad. And he's like, who's that with my dad? And he's like, oh, yeah, that's that guy, Irv. He had this crazy idea where he wanted your dad to be a bobsledder because he could run fast. And he's like, what? What's bobsled? I want to do that. So he goes to find John Candy. And he's like, yo, train me to be bobsled. And then he gets to train me to be a
bobsledder.
Silly. So he takes his friend Sanka, who's the best, what's that called? Derby car? No. Derby?
Yeah, basically a derby, but he called a push cart.
The push cart. In Jamaica, and he's like, we can do this. So they go to Irv, and they want him to train him, and he's like, no, I'm done with that. It's
Irv
over.
is washed up.
Over.
He's a gambler now. He's fat. He doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to be near bobsledders. Doesn't want to know about bobsledding. Him and bobsledding is done. Over. Finished. Finito.
Done. But then he's like, yo, my dad was your buddy, what's his face? Forget his name also. He's like, well, your dad was a one of a kind. He could run the whatever in 10 seconds. And he's like, I can do it in 9.9. And he's like, what? So, I mean, that changed his mind. He's like, all right, okay, maybe we can try this, but we got to find 2 other people to complete the team. So they hold a big meeting, and everybody, all the guys in Jamaica come to see if they want to do it. Turns out they don't because it's scary as fuck.
It shows all these crashes.
Yeah, good video, John, showing them. Irv. So everybody leaves except the 2 guys who also tripped in the race.
Coincidence?
Yeah, because they still want to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so they join the team.
Yeah.
And then
so you have Junior.
Begins. Yep.
Junior, sweet little rich boy, but we'll talk about him more later because he's the best character in the world. And then Yul Brynner. Not the actor not the Broadway actor from The King and I, but looks kind of like him.
Confusing. Bald head still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a little mean, but he's got a lot of strength, he's got a lot of power, and he wants to be on the team too.
Wait, who was Albert? Oh no, Annie.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yul Brynner, King and I.
Right. Okay.
He was also in
Who
Kiss of the Spider Woman.
He
I
was
think he won an
not
Oscar for that.
Asian.
He's not Asian.
Okay. Yeah. that's wrong.
Yep.
So there's our team, and so begins our training to get to the Olympics. So the Olympics are 3 months away, guys. Wow, that's not a lot of time. That's not a lot of time to train 4 guys who've never seen snow or ice in their life, and then
don't
get
even
in
know what a
sled,
bobsled is.
and to like go on it. I don't know if you know this, but a bobsled is the fucking scariest thing. Well, no, that's not true. Skeleton.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk
is
about
the
the three sled games at the Olympics a little later.
Right.
Because I want to talk about them.
Right.
They're special.
So their training consists of like they're in this makeshift bobsled, which is really like
I don't know what that was.
like a wagon.
It was a wagon with wheel, like a long wagon with wheels, and then there's some sort of steering mechanism in the front though, and and handles to push because it's the push, right? That was like makes or breaks you,
I guess. Yeah. So they train that on hills and stuff, and then they're like, "All right, let's go to Canada." So they go, and
wait. So then so obviously like Jamaica. The country who would like be responsible for being like, here's the money to go and like compete in the Olympics, right? Like they fund all that stuff. The guy was like, hell no, I'm not giving you $20 to go to the Olympics and like $20,000 to go to the Olympics and embarrass the shit out of this country. And John Kennedy's like, fine, like we'll raise the money ourselves. So then they decide to do like, essentially like what is like a car wash, and they don't do that, but like basically like mini fundraising, and they raise like $20 or something. Yeah. And then sweet little Junior, who's like very wealthy, sells his car and just like comes in and dumps all this cash on the table, and they're like, no, we can't accept this, and he's like, no, like we all want to go so bad, like whatever, like my dad bought me that car, I don't care. So they have the money to go, and they get on the plane, and they fly to freaking Calgary, Canada. Amazing.
It's cold. They're like, what is this? This sucks. And then they start their real training, and they go for the first time on the actual bobsled run. And it's terrifying, and they crash.
Yeah, and they don't even have a sled. So John Candy has to go to his old teammates who, like, they don't really like them, and you don't know this yet. But there was like something like went on when he was competing 16 years ago or something at some Olympics. So there's like some bad blood there, but his like one friend he's still in touch with and still likes him, like gives them an old U.S. practice sled. So they have a sled, but it is like busted as fuck.
Yeah, by old it's like basically coming apart and is the reason why they crash.
Like they don't have uniforms. I mean, they just have nothing, and they've never bobsled on ice.
Nope.
And the Olympics
never been on ice,
and like they must be there like 2 months ahead of time or something.
I assume. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So, but I mean, little by little, they get better and they get better. They eventually get actual uniforms and they paint their bobsled so it doesn't look like a crap box, and it's time for the actual Olympics.
Yep. So so the first hurdle is that they have to qualify. Now, the guy who's like one of the judges, who knows there's like judges in bobsledding.
What are you judging?
Well, there's 3 judges. There was like a push-off guy. Well, I guess if there must be some rules around like the pushing off and starts and stuff. Anyway, so like one of the judges is like the John Candy Irv, whatever his name is, like nemesis because he's his old coach. And the thing is with Irv is that back 16 years ago he cheated and his whole team they won, and like because who knows, but he did cheat by putting weights in the front of the sled. And they got their gold medals stripped away from him. So, like, such an embarrassment.
Which apparently is allowed now.
Yeah.
You can put weights.
No, you could
always put weights. Oh.
So, the thing with bobsledding is that, like, to go down that slide, the sled has to be a certain weight. So, if, like, you guys are under it, you got a bunch of light dudes, they'll add weights to the sled. Else, like, you go flying off of that thing, right? Anyway, so like they hate him, and so his like old stupid coach tries to put all these roadblocks like in front of the team, which makes no sense at all because it's not like they were like competition to his like U.S. team or whatever.
Seems to just be a grudge against.
Which is like, but other people are involved.
Yeah,
like those poor little Jamaican dudes who are there to compete and work so hard, and like
I don't know if they're little, but
no, but like it's spirit and like sweetness and spirit. So they're like, there's all these bullshit rules. So the first one is like, so they have to qualify. So obviously, like, in the Olympics, like anyone can just roll up to the Olympics and be like, hey, I'm doing X sport, right?
You can?
I think so.
Wait, but you need $20,000?
Well, they need to fly there.
Can I go?
They need equipment.
Should we go? Can we go? Should we go?
No, I
And
mean
you can do it.
No, okay,
Oh.
I'm exaggerating, but like essentially, if you're from a team, and I think any like team from a country can come and like present somebody, but you need to qualify. Obviously, you're not going to have like 80,000 countries like all competing. There's only so many slots, so there's always qualifiers. So for bobsledding, you have to run down the bobsled track in a minute a minute.
Used to be a minute 5. Minute 5 seconds.
Yeah. And then when he gets there, it's
they're
a
like,
minute
oh,
2.
we changed it to minute 2.
Yeah. And then right before qualifying, they're like, oh, BT dub. Now it's 1 minute. Like, what? Who makes these rules?
I know. This is bullshit. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, so the Jamaicans, so they do their qualifying, and it's like 59:68 or something. They make it. It's so exciting. Yeah. It's such a great moment. Totally. And then the next day, they're like all excited. They're painting their bobsled. And they get a letter that's like, oh, you're disqualified because you didn't run in a national race like before the Olympics. And Herb was like, what? That's not a rule. Like it counts, the qualifying, it counts as that. And they're like, not anymore, it doesn't. Yeah. We just changed the rules again, bitch.
What? Like, how is that allowed? You can't just be changing rules like day up.
It doesn't make sense. So he fights it, and he goes and like makes this good speech to the Olympic Alliance or whatever those bullshit white guy dickheads are.
Yeah,
it's just like a bunch of whiteys. And is that a term? Whiteys? I don't know. And so then they're like, okay, just kidding, you're back. And so that problem's over. So now it's time for the actual Olympics. So you got 3 runs here, and see who wins, gets the gold.
Yep.
Here we go. So first run they go, not so great.
Not good.
Doesn't go well. They're like flim-flamming, sliding to the edges.
They can't get in the sled.
They're
they have a bad
literally last place.
Yeah.
Second run, really good.
Yeah.
They start like real fast.
Yeah.
And
and what was the change?
They go up to 8th place.
But like, what was the change between that first run and the second in attitude?
Oh, I was like 4 seconds. They decide they shouldn't. So Dries is kind of like idolizing the Swedish or the Swiss bobsled team. So he's kind of like trying to adopt some of their things. But that's not really working out for them. And his friend Sanka's like, yo, we got to be Jamaican. Like, that's what got us here. Like, we got to stay Jamaican. So they, like, bring their personality to it. And that really helps them embrace it and
they're
have a good time.
Too.
Yeah. And so their second run is much better. And they jump up to 8th place. And then it's time for the final race. I got the bubble guts. And they go.
While you're watching this, as you're watching this, Andre's like, "Oh my god, I feel sick," and like I thought like we had eaten dinner, so I was like, "Oh my god, did like something sitting right in her stomach? Like what?" She's like, "Oh my god, I don't think I can even watch this part. I hate it so much." I'm like, "What?" Just
really good. I have PTSD. Cool Runnings PTSD. It's like really traumatic for me. So they're going down, and they're cutting back and forth between like the race and all the people in Jamaica watching at Sanka's mom's like restaurant, and it's so exciting because they're so excited. They want them to do well, but then then the bobsled starts falling apart because it's a rickety piece of shit, and they should have been given a real sled. Okay,
yes. Fuck you. That guy in Jamaica wouldn't give them the money.
I'm so upset, and it falls. It falls apart, and they crash. Yes. And
they crash really bad.
It's a really bad
point.
Crash.
Their like heads are like dragging like against the sides of the wall.
Should be dead.
Yeah, they should be dead.
And the medics are like running, and then Dries is like, I have to finish the race, and then they all get up and they put the sled on their. What do you call that? I don't know. It looks
on their
like,
shoulders. On their shoulders.
Like they're carrying a casket.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the bobsled. It could have been their casket if they died, which they should have, because it was a really bad fall. It's really traumatic. And then they carry the sled over the finish line, and then it's all happy,
and
even though they didn't make it.
And
everybody embraces it.
And a slow clap starts by their former East German nemesis, Drool. He does a slow clap.
I don't believe it.
The Jody Sir slow clap.
I'm not.
And then everyone else starts clapping.
It just didn't feel genuine. I think that maybe the Swiss should have started it, or I hate the East Germans. I hate them.
It was Drool, but everyone is just so proud of them, and like everyone was wearing these Jamaican shirts, and people who weren't even from their country was dressed in Jamaican colors.
Great moment,
yeah.
And
everyone loved them.
They won anyways, even though they didn't win. They won.
Let's say they won
in their hearts.
Then they won Miss Congeniality of the Olympics.
Sure, yeah, they won that.
which really means more than a medal. Let's be real.
Sure.
And then they became, you know, super well known and famous. And then that team still, like to this day, they're still Jamaican bobsledders. They don't qualify every year.
Not
but
so. They haven't qualified since 2014. I think was the last one, which was that Sochi. I remember watching it. And I was like, I was like, Cool Runnings too.
Yeah, they made and that
but it was the 2 man.
That's what they said. Cool Runnings the next generation.
Yeah.
Was what they build that new team. But yeah, so you know, no medal won, not
okay,
placed,
not a problem.
But they were the real winners. Yeah. And then the rest is history. So man, feel good flick to the max. I feel so good. It's such a good story.
I still feel
it's
sad.
Funny. Great music. Oh my god, the like steel drum, like Jamaican beats, like that's basically like the soundtrack. Intoxicating. You're just like swaying the whole time. The guys are great. They each have like well, I mean, for me, the weakest one is Dries. I didn't love him as much as
What
the
are you
others.
saying his name?
Dries?
Dries.
Dries. I spelled it for you earlier, and I don't even know.
Because I spelled it phonetically, and you were like Deric.
Yeah, he's kind of the weakest one for me, and I don't enjoy him as much as the others. But he's part of the puzzle,
right? But he's like the driver is
right.
like the boring one.
Yes, that's true.
The one that's serious, says Irv.
Yeah.
Sanka is the funny one. Is our comic relief. He's great, and he's not an annoying comic relief like most 90s movies where you're like, okay, that's not funny.
Yeah.
What was the movie? I think it was maybe The Mighty Ducks or something.
Like fat kids who
And like the guy
Goldberg.
But
Goldberg.
No. But
Mighty
Goldberg
Ducks?
was okay. But like, what was the guy that kept doing that like dumb joke that
The
was
nerdy-
not,
the nerdy kid?
that was like
Yeah.
not funny?
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
like, that's just not funny.
Right.
But Sanka's funny, so
Yeah,
it's
he's
okay.
funny.
And he's definitely my favorite character. But then you've got Junior and Yule, who are enemies at first, but really only because Yule is mean and doesn't like anyone. And he's like, I may be part of a team, but I'm no teammate or something. Like, I'm not a team player. I don't know.
Yeah.
Basically, whatever the saying, there's no I in team, he believes the opposite of.
Right.
He is the team, or he's just part of it. I don't know. He doesn't want anyone to touch him. He's like very hands off. He wants to leave Jamaica, wants to go to live in Buckingham Palace and stuff.
You should explain that.
And
If you aren't going to later.
they know. If they've seen it, they know. And then Junior is just a sweet kid who just wants to be liked and is rich. And his dad just wants him to have like a real job and do boring shit.
Yeah, and he just wants to do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
His
but he's
his
so
dad makes him feel like a little
sweet.
kid, and he's like the sweetest thing. He'll do anything for everyone. He gets some great speeches in there because there's a lot of like messages about growing up in Jamaica and how like a lot of people don't make anything of themselves growing up on that island. You know, you just kind of you're happy with your life there, and I think that's sort of like the
Sure.
the atmosphere there.
that's
You know, it's
fine.
a great place and it's hot and nice, and everyone just kind of it's island life. That's like island life, right? But like this like Yul Brynner like really wants to like make something of themselves, and he was going to be this like famous track star, and he might still be. But like he has these dreams, and Sanka's like, what? Like you're crazy. Like you're never gonna get off that island. You're just gonna be working in the shanty on the docks your whole life. Blah blah blah. And Junior's like, you can put anything you put your mind to, you can do if you want it bad enough. So it's like again that symbolism of, like basically just the sports talk in general. Like you can, the Marty McFly, George McFly.
If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
So it's great.
And they're just a great little dynamic. And then rounded out by a fabulous turn, as always, from John Candy.
Yeah.
Who's great, who has some good speeches. He's funny too, but toned down. A little
Yeah,
less his
super
John
toned down.
Candy self.
Yeah.
Looks terrible. He died
This was-
5
I
months
know.
later.
No, well, 5 months after the
After
movie
the
came
movie,
out,
yeah.
so really a year later.
Yeah.
But I thought that when I saw him, I was like, he looks really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they're in like sweaty Jamaica or what, but he didn't look great. I'm sad about it. But yeah, he's great, and I mean, this movie came out right in the fad of the 90s of this like Jamaican Rastafarian craze, right? Where Bob Marley was a big deal and all the kids loved him, and everybody wore those like kind of racist hats with like the dreadlocks on it and like the Rastafarian beanie.
Yeah.
boys in the 90s fucking loved that shit. Yeah. They were all over
You're
it.
Right. I wonder why that was like a resurgence in the 90s. Was it like some
it was
anniversary or something though? Why the 90s?
Well, when did he die?
Not in the 90s.
No. I thought it died sometime in the 90s. No. I don't know. Just like, it was just embraced. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Good question. But everyone, I mean, like in my school, all the guys loved it. So they loved this movie, obviously, because it was like everything they wanted to be and more. So it really brought me back to that time period.
Just those hats, those like
fucking
beanie Rastafarian hats.
So racist.
Oh my god! Not even the dreads, but like remember they just have them. Like John Candy puts one on when they're like
those
racing.
Things. But then like
everybody had one of those.
I know. Well, they had the ones with the dreads in my school.
Yeah,
it's bad.
And I think we grew up on the Cape, and I don't know. There was something about like when you live in like beachy communities that there seems to be like a influx of like,
so it's okay.
no I feel like it's just like a thing that happens, and because that music is very like beach related, connected to the island, you know, like stuff like that. I don't know, I feel like I always thought it was like a Cape Cod thing, not necessarily like a 90s thing.
I don't think so. No, I think it was
90s.
It could also actually be in part also too Sublime, which was big in the 90s, and he was like big into Bob Marley and reggae and stuff. Right. So maybe that's why. But good times. Yeah. So I mean, what is there to say?
All right. So my first initial memories of this movie that I remember are that the soccer character is played by an actor named Doug E. Doug.
Dougie Doug.
What is up with that?
I don't know, but even better, Derice is played by Leon. Just Leon, no last name.
Yep. No, like how you decide to be someone with no last name.
I could be no last name.
I mean, you have a perfect name for that.
Yeah.
Andre.
Oh, somebody already has that.
But it's like, I don't know, when you're just like, I don't want my last name anymore. And like when you're artists, like I was talking to someone one time and they like did not believe me that Madonna's real name was Madonna. I'm like, it is.
But what's her last
real name?
Oh,
Ciccone is Madonna's last name, just so you know. But yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, Dougie Doug, awesome name for an actor. Mm-hmm. The John Candy as the cheater was always very like haunting to me, like that aspect of it. That like he was this like disgraced former bobsledder that cheated. And as a kid, I was always like, whoa, just like really turned off by that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, no one wants to see their hero a cheater, Lance. Who's Lance Armstrong?
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's upsetting, but I mean, how did his team not know? John Candy was the driver? I'm confused. I don't know.
He like snuck in they're
after
like, hours. I'm like, I'm going to put some weights in the sled.
Gotta put this
and then they're like, they're getting ready to push. And they're like, wow, this feels heavier than yesterday. Oh, no, it doesn't.
Also, everyone just leaves the sleds in that like garage all the countries.
Maybe
so
someone
anybody
else weighted
could have
it.
tampered with it.
Yeah, good to know that that's not actually a thing.
Yeah.
And like, so that's the question then. Can you cheat at bobsledding at all?
No.
Right. Doesn't sound like it.
I don't think so. You could cheat death by not dying, which everyone does.
Basically. Yeah. So, okay. So funny historical points I just want to bring up as the resident historian here at Large Mark Tennis.
Yes.
Okay. So this was in 1988, Calgary. That was the first games they went in. And then by 1994, so that would have been the Lillehammer Olympics in Norway.
I know it well, yes.
They placed 14th.
Whoa.
Beating the U.S. team.
Shit.
Yeah. So awesome.
Cool.
And then, they haven't qualified every year, but like they do, I think, try at least every year. Because I think after that 88 one has been like such a thing for them. Like, and they're so famous now, in part because of this film.
Totally.
Introducing that whole thing to a whole new generation of kids, essentially, who like grew up with this movie. And then, the best fact ever, this year, first women's bobsled team from Jamaica.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, ladies.
Okay.
Ladies.
Four person or two?
This, I think it's 4.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so we'll have to watch out for them. This could be, Cool Runnings Ladies Edition. Maybe
Cool
they'll do a ladies
3,
version.
The next Cool Runnings.
Oh my god, that is the movie, and like, what a perfect year for it,
ladies.
Yeah.
Cool.
So awesome.
Great.
So that's really cool. Okay.
What else?
Do you want me to just like...
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, let's talk about first,
Oh.
as we're in kind of the historical part of this segment of the show.
Sweetie history. Yeah.
As we talk about our love for the Olympics, I'm sure everyone knows, maybe you don't, but let's give them a little primer on the triumvirate or 3 Winter Olympics sledding sports that we do have.
Okay. You get your bobsled.
You get your bobsled.
Your 2-man and your 4-man teams.
Mm-hmm.
You got your skeleton. Whoa. That's definitely the scariest one by far.
Yep.
That's where you go face first.
On your belly.
On your belly. Wow. Terrifying.
Yep.
And then the luge, which is on your back. 1 person. Very fast. Still scary.
But, okay, so, but there's the 2-man luge, which is like the craziest thing. And you're always like, okay, how close are you to your luge partner? Because you're like essentially lying on each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, bobsled too. They're like crammed in there like little
No,
sardines.
because you're like sitting down.
Well, my question is, how do you like stay? Do you like clip into the luge? How are you not?
You're just on the sled.
flying
You're
off?
holding onto the.
So that's why that guy died. That
Yeah.
time.
So remember a couple years ago, like someone went flying off their fucking luge and like crashed into the wall and died. Like broke his body.
I'm not
I think-
surprised.
was it a man or it
was
was
a
a man?
man.
Yeah. What the fuck? So I would never in a million years be doing luge or skeleton. And you go
mean,
so fast. For
I wouldn't do
bobsled, you
bobsled
go
either.
you bobsled you go 80 miles an
fast.
hour.
I mean,
80 in a car is
I wouldn't do
fast.
anything. I don't even go sledding. It's a little too scary for me.
know.
It's a little too high risk. There was this one time when our cousin Kate and I, hey Kate, we're going sledding at World's End in Hingham, and we were on these things called the magic carpet. Very fast, and could have died. I was just taking those turns, and I saw my life flash before my eyes, and we did like one run, and I was like, all right, that's it, I'm out. Like, I saw the end. It was too close. So, I don't like slippery things. I don't like ice. I don't like ice skating.
Same.
Clearly, Winter Olympics, not for us.
No.
But we like watching it. But these events are the scariest.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No.
And speed skating. Scary
Oh, that's
also.
well, it's just the blades and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same way. Like I haven't. I like sledding. I can take sledding. I can do sledding. But I've only skied once in my life. It was the most terrifying experience I've ever had. I was basically on bunny slopes and was like could not figure out how to stop. Okay, I took the lessons. I did the whole like okay, make a pizza like with your fucking skis. I got all that, but for some reason I like couldn't fucking figure it out.
Like a slice of
You
pizza?
make a wedge.
I was like, you make a circle?
You're like, no wonder you couldn't stop. No, you make a wedge, and I like tried so hard, but I couldn't fucking figure it out. So instead of trying to make a pizza, I just like throw myself over my skis. And so I did it a couple times, and finally I was like, fuck this. I just like threw my poles down, and I just started crying like in the middle of this slope. And it was a beginner slope, mind you, like the one they had. And then like the chairlift is going above me, and all these people are like, what's wrong with that girl? And then the fucking ski patrol comes out, and they're like, are you okay, ma'am? And I was like, I just want to go to the lodge. I was so upset.
That's great.
And so that was day one, and then I didn't go back the next day.
I mean,
I'm like, I'm going to stay home.
I think that's pretty standard, but like usually it's that people have somebody that's like, you can do it, and is with them, and you must have just been by yourself.
I was just with my friend. She was doing like not that well either, and we both weren't really enjoying ourselves. Yeah, I need someone who's going to teach me and like keep me like motivated because I was, and it's just, have we talked about this before? But like our parents were like crazy avid skiers before they had kids, and then they just never took us skiing. And like with any of those things, like take your kids and make them learn young, because then you, first of all, you're not scared of anything, so you just throw yourself in. You're like, oh my god, this is so fun.
True.
We have no inhibitions.
We could have been athletes.
Yes, we could have been. I could have been Lindsay fucking Bond, and now like I'm crying on the bunny slope. Thanks, mom and dad. Just kidding. Love you, Carol.
Should we
Dad,
call her?
love
Mom,
you.
why did you take us
We've
skiing?
asked them a bunch of times.
They said
were
it was
just
too expensive.
It is expensive. It's crazy expensive. So like I get it, but yeah, that. So anyway, like so, what I was trying to say was that I wasn't even going that fast because clearly, like, I was like not able to be a good skier, and I still thought I was extremely fast and scary. So, like, I can't imagine when you're doing the downhill. Oh my god!
Forget it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's all
basically,
scary.
like all winter sports is like are
death traps,
death
yeah.
traps, and I really have applaud those athletes because like what the fuck?
Hats off to you.
This isn't volleyball. I mean, this is the fucking skeleton.
Not,
You're gonna be a
not to
skeleton.
say that volleyball isn't scary.
Why is it called the skeleton?
Because you turn into a skeleton. when you die,
may
when you die
break
on
your
the skeleton. I don't know. Oh, I have a question. Bobsled technical question.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2-man bobsled, I get that. 4-man bobsled, you get the first person is the driver, so they steer. They seem to be doing all the work. It seems like the person in the back is the brakes. That's pretty important, but you don't really want to go on the brakes because you want to go fast. What are the guys in the middle?
Yeah.
What is their purpose other than pushing the
Yeah,
bobsled?
so I think it's like the push is super important, right? Because like that's like your start off and like your first initial, well, it's like 6 seconds, but like you need a good start. But then is it something with like kind of the weight differential of the sled and you're all like leaning one way and it's like
it's not that
coordination?
hard though.
I don't know.
It's like, I mean, I would want that.
Why
middle
even
seat.
have a
that middle
4-man
seat? Sounds
bobsled?
good. I know, that was my question. That's my question.
They did add it. Like it wasn't always like, but why
I
add
don't
it?
know. I have no idea.
Some
But
guy
it seems
had
like
like
you're just cruising.
Some guy had 2 more friends and he like couldn't decide who to pick, so he's just like, let's just all go.
Yeah,
Can't play favorites.
makes sense. This sounds about right.
Okay, pretty unrealistic. You know, I know he's supposed to be washed up, but that Bob Candy, John Candy,
Bob Candy.
his brother, John Candy was ever a bobsledder.
Well, it's just so funny that they show that picture in the office and it's like this guy, and Sweetie was like, why couldn't they just use a younger picture of John Candy? And I was like, because John Candy was like never not fat, right? I mean, can we verify that? I don't. I mean, I'm just saying that based
I
on
think
my
He probably shopped in the Husky department even as a young child.
probably.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, but so that was why. But you're right. He's just not doesn't scream athlete to me. Like, I would like to see a picture of anybody who was like an athlete all of their lives. Is anyone fat? Like, I just feel
Right.
like if you're that, can you get that fat like that quick? I don't know.
Right,
I'm sure you can.
16 years. Like I don't know, and like my question is like, how do you get into bobsledding? Like, do you think bobsledding is like, okay, my dad was a bobsledder, so like I'm gonna be one too, or like what skills are you like showing to people that they're like, hey, he would make a good bobsledder?
I just
like with all
imagine-
these random Olympic sports.
Well, right.
Sometimes I'm like, how
Well-
do you be a loser?
Well,
Why
I'll
would you
tell
be a loser?
I'll tell you what. This is what I imagine is what goes on. It's a Danny Zuko type situation where you're just trying out all the sports. And you're like, am I good at this? Nope. Am I good at this? Next. Am I good at this? Oh, here it is. Track. I'm good at that. And then
Yes,
that's what you.
But some of
you
those are
land on.
so random though. They're just like the most random.
Like what? What's the most random?
Well, all those sled ones seem pretty random. to
Pretty
me,
random.
Okay, right? Like curling. I mean, that's got to be like my dad was a curler, or like my family has curled.
I thought you and our dad. I was like, what? Ron? No way. Yeah, there's
What
some
are,
weird
like,
ones.
rando ones?
The biathlon.
Well,
Weird.
that's like archery or like
No, it's shooting.
Shooting. So you'd be like a good shooter, and then also be like, just you'd probably have to train for it's cross country skiing, right?
Yeah. And then you shoot
Oh my
something.
god,
That's
cross
random.
country! I'm just forgetting about
That's
this.
what-
Holy shit! Remember that one where like it's so cold and you'll see them sometimes and they're like, and they're like crossing the finish line and they're like snots are all coming down. They're like all frozen to their face
Gross.
because
No.
it's just like so long and so
upsetting.
cross country is exhausting.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, let's talk about my other 2 favorite things about bobsledding. Ready?
Go.
Okay, the designs of the bobsled pretty cool.
Didn't see a lot of cool ones in this movie.
They were
It's
pretty
mostly
cool.
just a color and the country.
No, but you're like, what color are you gonna pick? Because like the USA one was blue, could have been red, could have been white. Who designs bobsleds?
That's your big question. What color will it be?
No, you guys watch. There are gonna be some cool designs this time.
All right.
Trust me, they're not just gonna be like the flag, like
Okay.
Watch.
Okay.
Okay, my other favorite thing is the starting, the countdown, or the grunts, or like whatever they do, which they really like play on in this movie because, like we said, like they start using the Swiss one, which is like German, like Ein, Sein, whatever, and then they change it to their little Jamaican kind of
Push
saying.
cart one.
Yeah.
Well, it's the one that Sanka does. In
Yeah,
his
feel
push
the
cart.
rhythm, feel the ride.
Come on.
Right, time. Feel the rhythm, feel the ride. Get on up, it's bobsled time. Cool runnings, he says, like when they take off.
Yes.
I love that. Adorable.
Good one.
So that's great. So when you like listen and you like, it's just all, and they're always like,
It's intense.
and they're just like scream. Oh, I love that. It's like you just gotta get like pumped
Yeah, you
up,
gotta get
right? Because
pumped.
it's like terrifying what you're about to do. you must also be like psyching yourself
I don't
out.
know if I think they're used to it at that point. It's not like they're all Jamaicans doing it for like the fourth time.
Okay, question for you, sweetie.
Oh, shoot. Hit me.
All right. Who are the 3 countries in the world who have won the most bobsledding medals? Medals in total, not just gold.
Well, Norway.
Think about this movie and the champions here.
Swiss. The Swiss.
They are number 2 with 31 total medals.
All right. Russia.
No.
Good, because they're fucking cheaters and they don't deserve it. Just kidding. I just watched Icarus this weekend. Interesting.
Yeah. You guys should watch Icarus if you're in like the Olympics mood.
Super confusing, but watch it.
Great.
Okay. And then Germany.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh.
40 medals total.
They're first.
Yep.
Okay. Not USA, right?
Yes.
Oh, what?
USA with 24 medals. So
wow.
go us, go us. USA. USA. My God, I love the USA chant.
I know.
Can't
It's
wait.
so fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, watch out for those teams. They're always like really strong competitors. We'll see. Maybe people, but like, okay, speaking of Icarus, like, what's the deal with fucking Russia in this Olympics? So there's going to be no Russian team. There's solo competitors, but like they can't win any medals for Russia. They'll just like, get put into like another bucket.
What do they get?
They'll still get the gold medal, but their team isn't like, it's not docked under Russia. Like,
How is that? So jerky
gotten
Russian
it.
people can still beat us at figure skating?
yes.
Okay, forget it.
I
It's
know.
not.
I thought they were totally out.
not worth it.
But they
It's
don't
not
want
worth
to
it.
penalize the athletes. I mean, obviously, I think if like
I think they should if they're the dopers.
No,
you know?
but I don't think any of those athletes can. But what about the people who didn't dope?
Well,
Why
right.
do they
I
get
mean, it should be
punished?
like real testing, not this bullshit fake testing.
Yeah. So
and
Icarus
then
is
if
about
you pass, you pass.
It's a documentary about this guy who originally like starts to make a documentary about cycling and doping and cycling, and he like undertakes a
Basically
doping program
proves that like you can't even get close to winning any of those those cycling, like the Tour de France.
But he
without
did better
doping.
when he didn't dope, though.
But his speed was like he can't reach those like speeds
Yeah.
that those other people
Yeah.
had unless he was doping.
But in like so he gets hooked up with this guy who's basically like knows all about doping, and it turns out that he is like in charge of the lab in Moscow, and then basically becomes a whistleblower on the whole Russian doping program, which has happened in the last 3 or 4 years, right? It's really good. It's fucking confusing. I'm still confused about how they even pulled it off. It's explained well, but it's just like a lot.
I'm
of
confused
stuff.
about when did the KGB stop being called the KGB? I missed that. I missed that whole
missed the
side
memo.
plot. Now it's like something not fun to say.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a not- it's a
FSG
not
or
fun-
something.
fun
Like
acronym.
what?
But yeah, good doc on Netflix. Check it out.
Good times.
But yeah. Anything else? What do you got to bring to the table? Where's your bobsled?
What do you mean? I don't have a bobsled. I don't know what you're talking about. I like the line. The constant refrain in this movie is "Sanka, you dead? You dead? Sanka, you dead?" Do you think that's where we got our like? When Sweetie and I have this thing where we used to be like, "Where's Mom?" And we'd be like, "She's dead. She's dead." Is that from this? I don't know.
I do like that line, and
yeah,
they play
it
it
is
a
funny.
couple times,
Yeah.
but it's great every time.
And then at the very end, like Sanka's the one that says it, and it's like, "Dries, you dead? You dead?" Yeah, it's good. Good times. Not
no,
dead. No,
I'm
not,
not. What is, no, he says something a little different. You know, like, no,
not
I'm
dead. I don't know.
not. No, because Sanka says, "Sanka, you dead?" And he's like, "What does Sanka say?"
Nothing. Good. I don't know. Bring out your dead.
No, he goes. Does he go? Yeah, man. No, that's what he says. He
No,
goes,
no,
yeah,
man.
no, it says. No,
But
I
he's
think he
not
was-
dead.
No,
He said he's
kidding,
not
though.
dead.
Yeah, man. But then Dries goes, no.
Wow.
No. Anyway, good line. Good line.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Really sweet moment. Although I don't know. So there's this whole side plot where Junior's dad is a super dick face, and he's like sends him a telegram when he's already at the Olympics and getting ready to compete. That's like, "You must come home." No, I don't have to come home, Dad. How old do you think Junior was supposed
Early
to be.
20s?
His dad doesn't own him, and what
You
the
don't
fuck?
own
Like he's
me.
fucking at the Olympics.
I'm
trying to
gonna drive
compete.
this bobsled
So
anyway.
then, when he doesn't come home, his dad flies out to the Olympics and is like, "Time to go." And you're like, "What?"
It's like the day before the competition. It makes no sense at all that you wouldn't be like, okay, like maybe you should just compete and then we go home. I mean, that guy was a fucking weirdo. And he turns around, he has a great arc. He's wearing the t-shirt by the end. It's
That was
adorable.
a good moment, but I still felt like you're only happy because they were doing well. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That guy's a piece
Fair weather.
of shit.
Fair weather dad.
Fair weather fan. But him and Yule's
Yes,
story
they're-
arc is adorable
Yes, that
as
is
hell.
I do love those story arcs where it's like starts off icy and cold, and then they just love each other by the end. It's really
There's
sweet.
buds by
Yeah,
the end.
just really
and
gets
like
me.
and they both helped each other, which was great, right? Like they were both like ended up being like such a great person for each other. And this goes really nicely into a new segment that I want to introduce.
Oh boy.
I didn't tell you. I want to surprise you.
Okay,
It's a
I'm
gift.
excited.
So I would like to start inducting people into the Sweetie Club.
Oh, I
One
mean,
person per movie.
We do that.
But
What if
officially,
nobody makes it?
somebody has to make it.
Oh,
And if they don't, well, then it's not a Sweetie Club movie. It's not Sweetie Club approved.
what?
So obviously, speaking of Junior, I would like to induct him into the Sweetie Club
Right, Junior.
officially. So Junior, whatever your last name is,
Congratulations.
khaki pants,
You made it.
you made it. You are in the Sweetie Club. So welcome with open arms.
What's this? The Sweetie Club theme is Sweetie Club.
We need to make that up.
We
I
need to make a
guess.
theme up.
Yeah.
Well, TBD.
Yeah.
I was going to do the Olympics, sweetie, sweetie style. It works. Anyways, yeah, good segment. Good segment. We've done it casually in the past.
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
been
no,
like,
but I
we've been
just wanna
like,
make
they're
it
in the Sweetie Club.
official.
Do people know what the Sweetie Club is? I'm not sure if
don't
they
know.
do, even though it's our Twitter
Oh,
handle. So the Sweetie Club is a fictional club that Sweetie and I started 6 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Which is just a club of people that are super sweet, and it can be anybody, like our grandmother, who's the president of the Sweetie Club,
okay.
and basically is the number one world's biggest sweetie.
Right.
Um,
So before we started doing this with like movies and pointing out people who are sweet in movies,
And-
we used
and
to
in
do
real
it
life.
in everyday
Well, right,
life.
right.
That's why it started.
Yeah, that's
Right?
what I'm saying. Yeah, so like Grammy was like the Sweetie Club president, and then obviously our cats were in the club. We were in the club. I was higher ranked than Sweetie because for some reason I was sweeter than you. I don't know.
This is
how
going
we
to sound
came to that.
crazy, but we actually had officers. So we have officers just like the Babysitters Club. So like we said, our grandmother is is the grandmother president?
Yeah.
Okay, Robin is vice president. We put Robin in there because she like started sort of the Sweetie voice, and we like tucked her in there.
Oh, I thought I was vice president. Robin's secretary? You're treasurer.
Yeah,
I
maybe
know
Robin
that.
is secretary. Okay. Dad was posthumously.
Oh, yes,
you know,
yes.
is posthumous president or
The
something.
world, the OG Sweetie,
Yeah,
Rondi.
right. So like he's really at the top, but he's dead. So
and then we would just
doesn't really
like
count.
go out. We would just go through life and then see people that were sweet. Like this one cashier at Trader Joe's, tall black guy with a scarf. He was in the Sweetie Club.
Yep.
He was so sweet. I loved him.
Yep.
He's still a winner. And then we had
Walt
some
Jr.
famous people.
Walt Jr. from Breaking Bad was in this video. I still have the card. We'll post a photo of it.
Yes,
So,
we have to
we'll post a photo of it. Sweetie made me a card one year for my birthday with like all the random people that we had picked in the Sweetie Club, and like some of them were like random characters from television, some from like our daily life people we knew.
Trader Joe's cashier.
Yeah, Trader Joe's is like a adorable Trader Joe's cashier with like he was always near the register near the door, and it was like freezing, so he'd wear this like cute little thin scarf.
Oh, I thought he just liked scarves. I didn't know it was like functional.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's what
That's
happened.
the Sweetie Club.
That's what happened with the Sweetie Club.
All of our fans, you're in the Sweetie Club.
Yeah.
So don't worry. Don't worry, guys. You're in. But yeah, good times. Good times. Now you know.
Now you know.
Now
the more
you
you
know.
know. Dun, 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 dun.
Is that the news?
The more you know is like the NBC thing where like the star goes
NBC,
across.
Olympics. Dun, dun, dun. Anyways, wow. Okay. Anyways, so great movie. Good times. Watch the Olympics. Hooray,
Yeah, guys,
hooray,
get
hooray.
on it. And like we'll try to think of more Olympic themed movies to do these next 2 weeks, but I don't know if there's any more.
Miracle. That's all I got.
Yeah, but I love that movie. I'm watching it tomorrow. It's one of my favorites. But
You're watching it tomorrow?
love Miracle. Oh, it's so good.
I thought we would watch it for the podcast or something.
Oh, well, that didn't like I mean, we didn't watch that.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
It seemed
so
like
good.
high stress. But wait, do they win?
Yes.
Okay,
Such
then
a
I'll
good
watch
story.
it. I'll watch
Oh
it
my
if they win.
God. It's one of the best sports stories
I know
ever.
of the story. Okay,
It's a miracle.
is Kurt Russell in it?
Yes,
Okay.
as Herb. And all the players were, or most of the players were, so like you couldn't be professional players, so they were like all amateurs. So they were like college age players.
Wait, why couldn't he be a professional player?
I don't know
is
if
that
that's
still
the
today?
rule. I think it is. Yeah.
But the
no.
dream
People
team-
no, people from the NHL do. I think it used to be an old rule. Maybe I don't know.
Interesting.
Someone else might know more than me. But anyway, so they were made up of like a lot of kids from Boston area schools. So there are tons of and they do these like hilarious Boston accents. It's good. It's good. One of the players is the guy in the Sex and the City in that episode where like Alanis Morissette is in it and her boyfriend's bi.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's one of them.
good times. Cool. Wow, good fun fact. Anyways, yeah. So, thanks guys.
Thanks, guys.
For
Thanks for listening.
listening.
Enjoy the Olympics. We'll talk to you in a couple days.
Woo! Love yas.
Good runnings, man.
Bye.